Hello, is this thing on? All right, let's make sure, let's do a little quality check here and then we'll get going. Stoked to be back. But again, let's just make sure the audio sounds nice. All right, quality check done. We sound all right. Let's get into this. First things first, welcome back to anyone who is listening. We're gonna get into a 2025 underdog draft. I've already done one DraftKings draft. So we'll definitely do some DraftKings this year, more than last year. I don't even know if we did any DraftKings on the stream last year, but we're gonna get into underdog today. Like I said, I've done one on DraftKings, technically two. One I AFK'd, wasn't even there for that one. I didn't even know I was in the lobby, but I've gotten some free like tickets to enter drafts in over there. So I did those. We'll maybe take a look at those after this draft. And we'll also actually, let's do like a little recap here of our results last year. I think we won like around $1,000 from the season last year. Here we go. Let's look at our fast puppy that made it to the final, won us some money, won us a total of $760 just from, or I think it was 800 total. We came in, what place did we come in? I don't even know exactly what place we came in last on the fair. We won 800 bucks total, came in 139th out of, how many people were in this final? I'm not even sure. It's kind of a big final. 375, so we came 139 out 375, not bad. Yeah, we won 800 total just on the fast puppy alone. My goal this year is to kind of consolidate drafts. So drafts have been out and open for a while. If you want to join us, if you want to draft on Underdog, by the way, like link in the description, code in the description, at Temptation, that's my username, TEMPTATIIUN. That's my gamer tag. Obviously not our Fantasy Spitters tag. But again, I want to consolidate drafts here this year and focus on certain ones. So I do want to do a lot of puppies this year. I want to focus on the $5 drafts, maybe dabble in the threes. Like I like doing the lower end, like the lower cost entry drafts. Gonna try to do about 10 weekly winners, because I always feel like I do like 4 or 5 weekly winners, and it's never enough because a lot of my rosters just get depleted with injuries. So it's always tough. I want to get at least 10 in there. And then, like I said, a ton of puppies. So we'll go ahead and get 1 or 2 in on this, the original, like the first puppy. But again, the puppy 2 and stuff will come out probably with a bigger prize. Like this one has 100,000 at first. The fast puppy was 200,000. I think the puppy 2 had like a bigger prize than even 100K. We won't do a Schnauzer. What's the winning on Schnauzer? 100K. 100K for the puppy. We'll go ahead and get a couple best ball manias in this year, probably 2, just because I'm not gonna try to spend 25 an entry. We do have some money in here from last time. Save some money from our winnings. And then the marathon sprint, I had fun in these last year. I think I did like 2 or 3 marathons. Didn't do any sprints because they were $50 last year. They lowered that entry to 20 this year. I don't think either of these fully filled. Maybe with the lower entry cost on the sprint and then the marathon being in its second year, they'll actually fully fill this year. Which I hope not, because it's a better chance of winning when less, like if it doesn't fill, because it's a guaranteed contest. That's nice too. They put 20 seconds per pick on the pick clocks here. I didn't notice that change. Did they do that for everything? They did do that for everything. So you have options on the drafts now to do a 20-second, 30-second, or 8-hour pick clock. So you can do fast draft, regular draft, or a slow draft. That's cool. They did that for every contest, it looks like. Helps speed things up as well. We'll probably do 30-second just to start here. So let's go ahead and get in to a draft. See how fast this fills. We already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we're waiting for some people, but let's go ahead and take a look at the rankings. Again, if you guys are new to Underdog or haven't been on in a while, the rankings are going to be a bit different per contest. If you're drafting any like normal best ball tournaments, so the Puppy, the Schnauzer, Best Ball Mania, like any of the main like tournaments that's just normal best ball, it doesn't deviate from like, again, normal best ball, then these are the rankings right here. This is the 2025 season. They're all going to be the same. Again, that's going to be based on a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end lineup that automatically gets set every week. You don't set the lineup. Again, for those of you who are new to best ball, no time commitment, just sets the lineup for you. You just pick, your 18 guys, your 18 rounds, and go from there. Looks like our draft filled, starting in 60 seconds, but these are the rankings real quick. We'll go ahead and get into that draft here. Looks like we got pick 11. Man, last year I swear we were just sitting back half of the draft last year. I want to say the Fast Puppy we drafted 9th or 10th when we got to the final. Obviously, the more I was picking back there, the better I got at like picking, but this is my first draft again this season so far on Underdog. I haven't drafted a Puppy. It's almost filled. Let me go ahead and take a look, actually. They've been out since like right after the draft, so over a month now. Or just about a month they've been out. I've been meaning to get on here and stream these, but I was hoping to get a few more puppies than just, a couple in the first go around here, but 225,000 total entrants. So it's about 85% filled right now. So I'm going to be looking to stream not every day right now, probably 3 days a week. Probably do like 2 weekdays and then a week, like 1 weekend, so like a Saturday. Moving forward until we get closer to the season. Once we ramp up into like August, I'll probably be doing a draft a day until the season starts. So like 30 plus days straight of drafts. But until then, so from like now until the beginning of August, like 3 a week, maybe 4 depending how I'm feeling. But we're gonna go ahead and, again, this has been out for a while. I haven't really looked at the rankings, so I don't know what the rankings were at the start of this contest and where guys were going. DMC ADP at 11. I mean, that always feels nice. We're just gonna stay with that. Like if we go ahead and look at like CMC's 28, he's gonna be 29 here in a few days, few weeks. We're back on the clock. BTJ. Let's mix it up and go Drake London. He looked good with Penix last year. Anyway, let's look at his stats last year, or like touches. So again, if we go into, he had 50 carries last year, 15 receptions, only 65 touches. Obviously didn't play much. The year before, he had over 300 touches. So he's gonna be healthy, nothing major. So if we go ahead and look at his injury history. high risk. I mean, they say that, but there's no way to actually gauge this really. Probably just based on like historical metrics and whatnot. Chance of injury per game 5. Now again, with running backs, you're projecting they're going to miss a couple games a year, right? But not much has changed with this 49ers team. So last year he was dealing with the PCL sprain that many think were linked to the Achilles sprain. We'll see. He only missed one game in 2023. 2022 didn't have any injuries. At least on this. 2021 missed 5. 2020 missed 4. Actually missed a lot more than that. So I mean, you know what you're getting with CMC just in terms of like athleticism, touches, the ceiling, and to get him at 11, again, everyone's going to make a case for CMC, in the back half of the draft, but again, with that offense, like, let's go ahead and look at the 49ers here. They're missing Ayuk to start the season. They lose Debo. They lose Jordan Mason. So you think majority of the work still goes back to CMC, especially now that he's probably going to go into the season healthy. Didn't get a lot of snaps last year, which means they can probably give him a full workload this year and feel comfortable with that, depending on how he looks going into the season. And then if you're looking at like Drake London, in 3 games with Michael Penix, Drake London averaged 13 targets, 7 catches, 117 yards, and 0.7 touchdowns per game. Obviously, Michael Penix is going to be able to air it out. We're on the clock here. I don't think I want 34-year-old Devontae Adams. Just go ahead and take Lamar. Devontae. Good James Cook. Not going to stray too much from ADP, but again, last year, picking, running backs was clearly the play early on, which is why now this year you're getting a lot of running backs going off the board. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 through not even 4 rounds. 2 rookies, by the way, Marion Hampton and Ashton Genty. We're going to need to load up on receiver coming up here. 3 teams already have 3 receivers. 4 teams, I should say. Only 1 team went no RB, 0 RB build. We'll go ahead and see how the board falls to us, but we're looking at like Baltimore stacks. Like we don't need to stack with like Zay Flowers just went. We don't need to stack, but where'd that go? I still love Rashad Bateman. Mark Andrews going way later this year. like all I would do though. Brock Purdy might end up being one of my most drafted players this year. Where did Purdy finish last year? You need to log in now to. It's insane. See how this board's going. I still think Purdy has a good year. Probably going to be one of my most drafted guys, given he's going as a QB 12. I mean, can easily attain that with a higher ceiling based on the team he's on. Waddle off. Chuba off. Do we get the 49er stack and go Kittle? I mean, we'll build the CMC. We'll build the 49ers team here. We get Kittle at a value. We get Kittle at a discount here. We'll be able to go through and get Purdy. We'll take Godwin. I don't know how I'm feeling about Dunze. Like, what do we think here in the chat? Do we like Roma Dunze this year? Do we think he makes the jump? We're kind of going with just like a balanced build here. Really need to hammer like our wide receivers though, for sure coming up. But yeah, just a Dunze like in general. I don't know how I'm feeling. He's good. Like it's obviously all based on Caleb Williams' performance. They get the better head coach, Ben Johnson, obviously, but do we think he can translate to head coach material? Do we think his offensive abilities stay the same? One thing too to think about is like their defense was really good last year. If they stay that good, Caleb doesn't need to do as much. But their run game's still kind of butt. Like they still have Swift as their one. And with Roche, like is that I don't think they drafted a running back. They did draft Luther Burden though. And Loveland, which is another like Dunze just has more target competition when you get another two more pass catchers that are both upgrades versus what you had off of an old Keenan Allen and off of Cole Kmet, which like no dig to Kmet, he's a decent tight end in the NFL, but Loveland's a top 10 draft pick, arguably the best head in the draft. And then they're still running with Roschon and DeAndre Swift. Like, how much better does the run game get? TBD? We don't actually know. Board off 78. This guy definitely going receiver build. Doesn't like running backs still. Even after last year, he probably got hosed last year. The old classic Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Burrow stack like every year. Finally worked out last year though. The year before it was a dud. We're gonna have to go Shakir here. We need receivers really badly. I don't want to be stuck with 2 Atlanta pass catchers right now. Just go Josh Downs and hope that Daniel Jones is the starter, I guess. Josh Downs, the talent, is sick. Josh Downs' quarterback potentially has downs. So that's like the boat we're swimming in there. It's like third-year Josh Downs against Luther Burden, Darnell Mooney. I wouldn't even put him in the boat with Mooney. I probably would have taken Mooney if I didn't have Drake London already, but Josh Downs versus 33-year-old Cooper Kupp, Luther Burden rookie, and Emeka Egbuka rookie, which again I might have been more inclined to take one of these two if I didn't have. But honestly, am I taking a wide receiver 3 on a team versus an arguable wide receiver 1 on a team? Tough to say, especially with a second-year QB and Luther Burden competing against, again, more target competition. There's 4 pass catchers there. With DJ Moore, the unequivocal 1. They spent an early first-round pick last year on Rome Odunze, and you think Luther Burden's going to have an impact right away? Probably going to be the 4th option on that team, and we're taking him ahead of potential 1 in Josh Downs. I don't like that. Egbuka, like the 3rd guy. Let's see where Chris Godwin's coming along with injury. I don't think there was an update. May 4th, Bucks offer good news. Also, it's like, okay, well, how are the Bucks gonna be with a new offensive coordinator again? Josh Grizzard. Caleb Williams off, Bo Nix off, Drake May. I think we go ahead, lock in Brock, and just roll 2 QBs. He doesn't have a QB. I'm just going to lock in Brock Purdy here. We will roll with 2 QBs this build. Do we go Mark Andrews and just get a 2 tight end build too? Yeah, let's do it. Let's just stack our QBs and tight ends. We get Kittle and Andrews. We'll probably roll 2 tight ends, 2 QBs, and just stack 6 receiver or 6 running backs, 8 receivers or something. That's just what it's gonna be. Pretty crazy build here. I mean, I'm not too far off ADP on some things. Keep looking up these again, I'm looking up like the Chris Godwin, like Bucks offer good news Godwin injury update, and I'm reading and it's like they're not saying anything about the injury. They're just talking about Chris is on target where we thought he would be. We signed him for 3 years. 1 year is a long-term deal in the NFL, but 3 years we're excited to have him. This gives us some comfort that we make sure he's rehabbing at a steady rate. We're not rushing this. We're expecting him week 1, but now we're not worried trying to rush too quickly because we got another receiver. Interesting take. Strictly looking RB receiver though. Look more on this Josh Grizzard dude. He was the pass game coordinator last year. Okay, I mean, it should be similar to Liam Cohn. I want to know more about Josh Grizzard. Hollywood Brown. Okay, I banked so much of my life on Hollywood Brown last year. Go Trey Benson. And we take Rashad White there? Or Tajay? We'll continue. We'll grab Rashad White. Still really need receivers badly, but there's some guys we like still. Noel, Tillman. We don't mind Leggett. Dobbs. Kinda Thielen. Michael Wilson. Coker. Still like taking Calvin Austin late. Noel's gone. This guy's just taking all the rookies. Rookie. Pretty sure he's a rookie. Rookie. That's crazy. I think what's crazy is this disparity of pick between Bucky and Rachaad White. Like, what? Are they not still the two running backs on the team? Like, who's gonna take Rachaad White's spot? Sean Tucker? No. Bucky's small, still big injury risk. Again, let's look more into this. Oh, Larry Foote's the run game coordinator, outside linebacker sketch. Interesting. Josh Grizzard. 13 years of coaching, 8 at the professional level, 7 with the Dolphins, quality control coach. Okay, so I mean, he worked under Mike McDaniel for a little bit, and Duke, okay, decent background. I'm intrigued. He's piqued my interest in terms of me still liking Tampa without Liam Cohn. Especially with Baker. I fear that I botched my draft with 2 QBs, 2 tight. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have to have CMC just dogging this year, 100%. Just gonna have to go ahead and take Cedric Tillman. McMillan goes, so we're left with like Thielen, Wandale, Alec Pierce. Let's go Thielen. Bryce Young's looking better. We get some early production from Thielen until Godwin's fully healthy, till the QB situation's figured out in Indy. Like, what? Still Neighbors, Wandale, and Slayton. I mean, Slayton's still a good pick. Here's the quarterback situation there. Well, I mean, you have Dart now, and Russ and Jameis. I still like Slayton. Just signed a deal there. Still kind of young. Was still interested in Darius Slayton. Tyler Lockett, no. Tennessee, people gotta die. They got Cam Ward now. What's other receivers there? Ridley, Lockett, Burks. Lockett's what, 31? 32? Good God. He'll be 33 this season. It's crazy. Quarterback's falling like crazy right now. Noted for the future, I can get tons of quarterbacks. I'd love to still get Matt Stafford. I don't think Jackson Dart's the worst pick at 206. Michael Penix is falling like crazy. Fucking rock. Yoshi Voss can still get some spikes. We do need to snag a running back coming up here. What's the Patriots depth chart? What's Pop gonna look like? Diggs, Pop, Williams. Take Will Shipley. He's got a path with Barkley being hurt. Take Slayton. Still a big game. There's still a big like threat downfield. Justice Hill's still Justice Hill, right? Like, don't think they have anybody else. Well, they'll have Keaton Mitchell back. Who do we go here? Late. Ray McLeod. Did they draft anybody? No, it's still Ray. Jerome Ford. Need another running back. Need a receiver. Still fan of Justice Hill. Blake Corum still has a path. Just because this is a Ravens build, I think we roll Justice Hill maybe. And now for receivers. got to be Calvin, right? Calvin or Ray Ray. We'll take Calvin Austin. Aaron Rodgers is coming home, boys and girls. All right, so that finishes out our first draft and underdog 2025, first puppy here. So we roll with CMC, Drake London, Lamar, James Cook, Kittle, Godwin, Shakir, Josh Downs, Brock Purdy, Mark Andrews, Trey Benson, Rashad White, Cedric Tillman, Adam Thielen, Will Shipley, Darius Slayton, Justice Hill, Calvin Austin, with a 2-6-8-2 build. Definitely unique in terms of like the team build, I guess. We go with the Baltimore San Fran stack. So we have Lamar, Justice Hill, Mark Andrews, and then we have Purdy, CMC, and Kittle together. Both running backs of which are pass catchers to link with the quarterbacks. And then we do have Rashad White and Chris Godwin on the same team, quote unquote, you know. But aside from that, like obviously when you're going two quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, you're really praying for no injuries. Or if there is an injury, it's after the bye week of one of the quarterbacks. So then, you know, you're not missing out on a bye week. But really, we're just hoping for CMC and James Cook to carry this team. Namely CMC. To really just have, you know, one of his years. And then the receivers are all just going to have to put in their share. I don't think there's one that's going to like blow us all away. Just need them to be sturdy and steady. Unfortunately, we took very volatile guys. In Downs, Tillman, Thielen, Slayton, Austin, like kind of sus, kind of scary, but we'll see how this plays out. I mean, it's our first draft. We're just getting our feet wet. I've done some other drafts, but they were just pre-best ball or pre-draft best balls. Only did 3 like sit and goes, which I will say, if you never played on Underdog and you want to draft, especially right now, I will say if you're drafting any tournament style drafts instead of like the sit and goes. So what I mean by that is when you're on this main page, either here on the app, the tournament styles are like big prize pools against, you know, tons of other team or players, blah blah blah. There's gonna be a lot sweatier drafters, more experienced guys. So if you were in my last draft, you saw a bunch of badges next to people's names, red or black and white. Those just are based on experience. So number of drafts entered, I think, along with winnings. So those guys have all drafted a ton, won a ton. And when you're doing tournaments, it's a lottery ticket. So obviously it's volume based and those people enter, usually max enter drafts. So max entry for a lot of these are like 150 drafts. They'll max these out. So they'll put 150 entries in, just like the lottery. Like if you buy more tickets, you have a higher chance of winning. Versus if you scroll down on this or the app, you can play sit and go tournaments where it's just a basic, you could choose from 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, or 12 person drafts. And then you can choose dollar amounts of 3, 5, all the way up to $100 entries. And then Underdog does take a little bit of a rake, but again, if you're just doing a small 2-person draft, you can have fun and you can win, you know, you can almost double your money. You're winning like $2.40 if you win. I always do 12-person sit and goes. So like I'll win like 20 if I win, or I'll do the $5 ones and I'll win like 32. And it's good practice. It's a cheap way to just have fun. A lot of the drafters are not as experienced or sweaty as the tournament drafters. Again, it just gives you a good idea of what ADP is, what rankings are. Guys not trying to gigabrain you. Most people are staying within like the ADP and ranking parameters and things like that. But again, it's just a good way to get a good feel of the draft rooms without, you know, trying so hard. in my opinion. And then when you feel ready, then you can go to the tournaments. But I do think, in my experience, that the sit and goes are fun, and they're, like I said, they're easier. I actually win a decent amount of money. I do like 5 to 10 every year, and I win a couple every year, and it makes my money back and more. I get some profit just out of that alone, and it pays for some of my tournaments. So just an idea there if you guys are playing and you're newer and you want something that's just a little more casual. And then when you're ready for the tournaments, or if you want to jump right into the tournaments, be my guest. They're fun, right? And then again, we'll go over all the tournaments right now. Just a brief overview of what they are. These ones will be up here all year until the season starts. They tend to take some time to fill up, but weekly winners, which is, and these are all best balls, they're not set lineups. So weekly winners, which is kind of just like a DFS type thing where you draft your team at the beginning and it's DFS every week. So there's prizes every week based on like total score, cumulative score, 20K to first, and so on and so forth every week. If you get top 4,000, you win $7 plus, and that's every week. The Schnauzer is just like the puppy and Best Ball Mania, just normal best ball. Weeks 1 through 14, regular season in your 12-man pod. Top 2, sometimes top 3. You gotta be careful and look at the rules. Advance out of the pod into another pod, blah blah, into playoffs week 15 through 17. Eliminator. They had this last year, I think the year before too. Again, normal draft, blah blah, 18 rounds, same like format, but every week there's a cutoff for the bottom teams in your pod. So like if you're like bottom 4 of 12, you get booted and you're out of the tournament. 17 weeks of that. You'll have to read the rules for all of that, but that's a fun little one. Big Dog is the same as Best Ball Mania, just a bigger tournament, like bigger entry. Sprint is cumulative, so there's not pods, so you will draft with 11 other people, so you'll draft with 12 people total. Same thing, 18 rounds, but then you're competing against 55,800 entrants, so you're competing against everyone else's score after you do your draft. So then that's weeks 1 through 14, and then you move on, and it's weeks 15 through 17 for playoffs. So if you do somehow, make it to playoffs, then it's cumulative 15 through 17. So all your points from those 3 weeks add up to 1. And again, you're facing every single person in that playoff, not just like a pod. You're not getting put into a pod. It takes some luck out of it in terms of pod seeding and pod placements, which if you're new again, whenever you do advance in these tournaments, whether it's 2 or 3 teams, or sometimes it's 4 teams advance, you get put into another pod against players that also advanced, and sometimes their teams are really, really good. Sometimes their teams are really, really bad. And it's just a luck of the draw. Sometimes there's a ton of good teams and only 2 can make it out. Sometimes there's a ton of bad teams, but somehow 2 bad teams make it out, and they just get lucky. They didn't have to score as much as other teams. Where the sprint takes that out of it. Same with the marathon. The only difference with the marathon from the sprint is that there's no weeks 15 through 17 playoffs. It's weeks 1 through 17 cumulative scoring. So marathon's also cool. Did that last year. I'm gonna look to do that this year. Gonna pound some entries there. But like I said, gonna try to do like 10 weekly winners, maybe 5 to 10 marathons. Just so I'm gonna gauge my bankroll, and then 2 Best Ball Manias, so that's $50. If I did 10 marathons, that's 150. That's 200. It'd be 300 with 10 weekly winners, and then if I put in like 200 or so puppies, that's like 40 entries. Could be good to go. I really enjoy when the fast puppy comes out. They're probably not gonna have that this year though, because now they have the 20-second pick clock. Fast puppy was like 15-second pick clock. They did some fun ones last year where it was like, it wasn't puppy, I forget what it was. It was a Schnauzer or something. They did, or I don't even know what it was, but they were doing like 10-second pick clocks. It was crazy. It was hectic. You had to know your pick like right away. But that's gonna do it for the stream. 50 minutes in on a Saturday morning. Like I said, we're gonna be doing one weekend stream probably every Saturday morning around like 9-10 a.m. We'll see. I'll try to put a schedule up on YouTube, But aside from that, we're going to continue to talk draft, look at new hires and coaching. I'm going to try to get some charts put up and everything. Appreciate you guys for coming out again. Please hit that like, subscribe button if you haven't already. Go ahead and leave a comment down below what you thought of our draft. Leave any questions you have, about your fantasy leagues. I'm also going to be we're starting a dynasty league for my home league, in one of my home leagues actually. So that's going to be fun. Maybe go through that process with you guys. But yeah, this is the first draft. Can't wait to keep going this year throughout the summer, just drafting best ball. It's such a blast. Hope you guys join us.